Okay folks, we got a quick fix here for a friend of mine. This is a 3-point link for a John Deere tractor, and it's a pretty good sized tractor. You can see where somebody has welded up where the ball is loose in there. So what we're going to do, the other side don't look bad. It's still crimped in good. I'm sure that, you know, it's got plenty of wear in there, but we're going to try to make it back usable. And first thing I'm going to try to do is knock this ball out. Once I get the ball knocked out, we're going to grind this down. We're going to turn a piece down on the lathe that will fit over this, that has got a good ID on it to hold this in good, and maybe taper it since this is a ball, and then we're going to weld it in. So that's what we're doing now. Alright, let me see if I can get this ball knocked out of it. There we go. Alright. Time to do a bunch of grinding. Maybe you can see a little better about how rough it is. So, see if we can get that ground off here real quick. Then we'll get the ball knocked back in and we'll get a measurement. Okay, we got it ground good. We're going to try to get the ball back in it. Alright, ball's back in it. So we're going to bring it up a little bit. We're going to get a measurement of the OD of the ball at about midways. Midways meaning half down and half up. You know, it's going to be sticking out about, it feels like about 3/16 on each side. Maybe a little less. And so we're going to do that. Okay, here's what we got. We got a washer. It's 210 thousandths thick. And I'm going to bore the inside hole out to 190, and we're 1 inch 900 thousandths, and we should be able to flip it over it and get a good weld around it, and that should hold it in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and probably do, I'm going to go smaller than 190, probably like 175 or something, and then I'll taper it out to 190. I get it done, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've got this piece made. I just tapered part of the inside of it, and it's going to put right over it, and then it's going to weld in good. There'll still be some play in it, but you know, you're never going to get all the play out of it, so not a problem. So what we're going to do is get this exactly where I want it, and we're going to get this tacked, and then we're going to do a good weld around it, and we'll be done. Okay folks, we're done. We got it welded in, ready to go. The main thing on this is you don't want to make this hole too small to where you don't have enough pivot. Let me see, it's kind of hot. I don't want to find something here to grab it with. That way you can still get a good angle on it. So I think she'll be fine. Shouldn't be a problem. We'll try to get some grease down in it for him once it cools off. But all right, got more to do. One thing down. Okay, what I've got here is a cast iron leg that's been cracked across. This is for an old wine press, and not much to it, just a little short leg. But what I've done is I V'd it out on each side, and I just took my wire welder and put some weld on it enough to where I can get a good grind on it. I don't want this thing to move, and if I grind it, then I may not be able to get it lined up back right. So we're going to try to grind this without breaking this weld, and then we're going to preheat this thing and weld it. So you can see on this side, the weld's going to be down low, so I'm going to have to do a good V grind down inside of it. So let's see what happens. Okay, we're preheating now. Got it ground good. We get it hot enough, I'll get it welded, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, weld's done. We got a full weld on it now. We're going to get it in the sand. I didn't weld as heavy on the back side because a lot of that's got to be ground off. We're going to put this in sand and let it cool on its own, probably about an hour. Okay, I got it stuck down in this bag here, and a little more around here. We're just going to we're just going to let it sit there and cool off on its own. And I left this end out, and it'll let it transfer some of the heat up this way, but it'll work out just fine. This is just to cool it slow so it don't crack. And then once we get that done, we're going to grind on it some, and then we'll really see how good our welds are. All right. Okay, next thing we got is this exhaust manifold. Cracked all the way into, clear around. The only thing holding it is this brace right here. And they're just having trouble finding this manifold. It's for a Geo Metro 4-cylinder. So anyway, what we're going to do, first thing we'll do is bolt it down to a plate, a thick plate, so it don't warp when we weld it, and hopefully it'll keep it straight. We'll grind it out. As you can see, that's JB Weld. Somebody had packed JB Weld over it trying to fix the crack. So we're going to grind it off, grind a V in it. It's going to be kind of hard to get down in there, but we're going to get it as good as we can. And then we're going to preheat it, weld it, cool it the same way we did the leg. Okay, we got it ground, we got it bolted down. Not necessarily the way I like bolting them down. I'd rather drill holes and bolt it down, but I don't have a plate I can use or that I want to use to waste to bolt this manifold down. But it's good and tight, it's not going to move. We'll preheat it, weld it, see what it looks like. Alright, she's welded. I'm going to tell you the most important part of this. Absolutely the most important part, but I'm going to do something real quick first. Okay, I'm not a welder, but I've welded a lot of stuff over the years. I've welded a lot of cast iron. But I'm going to tell you the most important part about welding cast iron. And it has nothing to do with what kind of welder you use or what you use, nickel rod or what. The most important thing is preheat it, weld it, and don't let it cool down fast. Put it in sand. Pack it in sand and let it cool slow. And you won't hear all that cracking and popping of the cast iron. But that's the best advice I can give you. Besides that, that's about all I'm going to say. Alright, I'll show you that one when it cools off. It'll be probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay, now we're going to get this one out of the bag. I can still feel a little bit of warm on it, but it's plenty. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go grind this and clean it up, and I'll be able to see what my weld actually looks like. Okay, there you go. It turned out about as good as I could ask for. Weld solid. Shouldn't have any issues. He wasn't worried about looks, he just wanted to fix it. So it is fixed enough, and we'll let that manifold cool. I've got another job I need to get done. Okay, last job was a friend of mine. He's only 14 years old, but he wanted 35 thousandths taken off this cylinder head to raise his compression up just a little bit. So that's what we done. We actually took off 35.5 thousandths, but it ought to do just fine. It'll seal up really good. All right, show you more. Okay, we got her cooled down. Still got sand on it there. Welded good. I don't see any added cracks here. I'm going to hit it with a wire brush and clean it up just a little bit. We're not too worried about looks on this thing, but we got it all the way around, all the way down in. So come out good. If you didn't preheat and cool slow, there'd be cracks all over this thing, and looks real good. So I'm going to hit it real quick with the wire brush. Okay, so everything looked good until I got to the other side. Now I probably missed part of the crack, got off to the side, but it's going to be hard to see. I know these are not beautiful welds or anything like that, but right through here is a crack, and I did hear one pop between the time I welded it and the time I got it to the sand. So we're going to go ahead and preheat again, and we're going to move over on this weld and go ahead and get this taken care of, and then we'll have to let it recool again. Alright, okay, definitely not pretty, but she'll hold. No cracks whatsoever, and I've checked it really close. So we're going to unbolt it and see if it warps or not. When we unbolt it, we should be able to tell pretty easy, but we'll give that a try. This is going on about a $300 car, so it's not that big of an issue anyway. But okay, folks, flat as a pancake. Thankfully, no warping, so we don't have to machine it. I think this will work out fine. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it really don't matter on this old car. And I know this is not the proper way of welding cast iron. I like nickel rod. I don't have any. This is just some quick fixes. It's not a big deal on this stuff, and it'll hold up fine. I mean, I've done this for years, so I'm sure I'm going to hear it, because I know it's not the right way to do things, but you know, sometimes you just do what you do to get by. But anyway, appreciate everybody watching, and I just had to knock out these few things for four things for 4 different friends, and I'll be back on the drag car here. I'm going to do the axles next. That'll be tomorrow. Alright, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.